Hello, good morning, and welcome to our special report for state leadership candidate registration right here on TVRI World. As the upcoming general election is gearing up with the final candidate registration with the third presidential and vice presidential nominee, we are here to give you all the details and further analysis of the contest and political constellation within the upcoming general election. As your host, I'm Siska Becker.
And I'm Luisa Kusnandar. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will be with you for the next, let's say, 2 hours and a half. Let's see how the day goes. Okay. But let's welcome our guest right here. We have Wasisto Rahardjojati, a researcher and Center for Politics, BRIN. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you for the invitation.
Wasisto has been with us for the first and the second presidential and vice presidential candidates registration. And also we have Dr. Cecep Hidayat, observer of the social and political studies from the UI, Universitas Indonesia. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning, Luisa. Good morning, Siska.
Yes. Good morning, gentlemen. Such a pleasure to have you here to get your insights and maybe your opinions on the political constellation now that all the nominees have announced their registration within the KPU. So we're going to talk with you in a moment, but first we have a few items to deliver to our viewers. Let's begin with our first news. The week-long registration of pairs of state leadership candidates for next year's presidential election has begun, with 2 of the 3 contesting pairs registered with the General Elections Commission or KPU on Thursday. This is, of course, previous news. We're just going to recap it all again for you. And the race for the country's top leadership this time is anticipated to be tight, with no single pair assured easy victory.
The race for the next duet of state leadership has begun, with former Jakarta Governor Anies Baswedan and National Awakening Party or PKB Chairman Mohaimin Iskandar officially registered as pair of presidential and vice presidential candidates at the General Elections Commission or KPU on Thursday morning. Nominated by 3 legislative political parties of the Coalition for Change, namely Nasdem Party, PKB, and the Prosperous Justice Party or PKS, Anies and Mohaimin was the first pair to register their bid. About an hour later, former Central Java Governor Ganjar Pranowo and Coordinating Minister for Political, Legal and Security Affairs Mahfud MD registered their candidacy for next year's presidential election with the Elections Commission, a day after a coalition of political parties backing Ganjar's bid announced their pick of Mahfud MD as his running mate. The Ganjar-Mahfud pair is nominated by 2 legislative political parties, the Indonesian Democratic Party of Struggle or PDIP and the United Development Party or PPP, and 2 non-legislative parties, Hanura and Perindo. The third presumptive candidate, Defense Minister Prabowo Subianto of the Gerindra Party, is not yet able to register with the Elections Commission, as he has yet to have a running mate in his pocket. Prabowo has 4 more days to announce his vice presidential candidate before the registration window for the pairs of state leadership candidates close next Wednesday. Airlangga Hartarto, chairman of Golkar Party, a member of the Indonesian Onward Coalition of political parties, which supports Prabowo's bid, said Prabowo will register with the KPU after Golkar holds its national leadership meeting tomorrow. Golkar has been proposing Airlangga as Prabowo's running mate. Besides Airlangga, a non-structural Golkar member and Minister of State-Owned Enterprises, Erick Thohir, has also been tipped as a strong candidate to accompany Prabowo in the next year's election. Erick Thohir, who had been nominated by the National Mandate Party or PAN, has been at the top of ranking of vice presidential candidates in a number of surveys. Also largely tipped to accompany Prabowo is Governor of East Java, Khofifah Indar Parawansa, who has strong influence on members of the largest Muslim organization in the country, the Nahdlatul Ulama or NU, particularly in her capacity as chairperson of NU's women's wing, the Muslimat NU. However, the retired army general is thought to be eyeing up President Joko Widodo's eldest son, Gibran Rakabuming Raka, especially after a controversial constitutional court ruling on Monday that paved the way for Gibran to run, and despite Gibran being a card-carrying member of the PDIP. Gibran has emerged as a unity candidate for the Electoral Alliance, backing Prabowo's third bid for the presidency, following a stalemate in naming a vice presidential pick. Gibran's status as the son of Joko Widodo, a president with the highest approval rating in Indonesia and very likely in the world, is expected to give a boost on Prabowo's presidential bid. A September 2023 survey by Compass Research and Development Agency shows that the approval rating of the Joko Widodo Maruf Amin government reached 74.3%. Other surveys by the Indonesian Survey Institute, or LSI, and SMRC even put the approval rating of Jokowi's government at above 80%. Gibran has also been tipped as a strong contender for the vice presidency. The Indonesian Survey Circle, LSI, Denny JR Research Institute released a survey in August on popularity of figures which put Gibran at the top of potential vice presidential candidate for the 2024 election, with 66.5% above Erick Thohir at second with 61.8%. Prior to the Constitutional Court ruling, Jokowi's grassroots support group, Projo, officially lent its support to Prabowo's bid. And before that, the president's youngest son, Kaisang Pangarep, took over the Indonesian Solidarity Party, or PSI, known to be at odds with the PDIP, but which was also being courted by Gerindra. PSI has indicated that its support for Prabowo would depend on who Prabowo's running mate will be. Therefore, it is anticipated that the announcement of Prabowo's running mate will be decided after the return of President Joko Widodo from his overseas trips to China and Saudi Arabia on Sunday. The race for presidency this time is anticipated to be a tight one for the three pairs of state leadership candidates with relatively balanced popularity. The ability to secure the most votes in the country's three largest provinces in terms of population, West, Central and East Java, is therefore the determinant in a pair's election victory next February.
Now, what's been trending and perhaps a big surprise in the news this whole week is Defense Minister and presidential candidate Prabowo Subianto of Gerindra Party named Surakarta Mayor Gibran Rakabuming Raka as his running mate for next year's presidential election. The pair plan to register as presidential and vice presidential candidates at the General Election Commission today.
Prabowo said the decision for Gibran Rakabuming Raka as the vice president candidate had been agreed upon by all party chairs, members of his political coalition. He added all chairs of political parties at the coalition held a meeting at his residence in South Jakarta on Sunday evening. The coalition, which is known as Advanced Indonesia, groups Gerindra Party, Golkar Party, the National Awakening Party, the Crescent Star Party, Gelora Party, Garuda Party, Prima, and the Democrat Party. Two other presidential and vice presidential pairs, Anies Baswedan and Muhaimin Iskandar, and Ganjar Pranowo and Mahfud MD, registered at the General Election Commission last week. Prabowo and Gibran are scheduled to register on October 25, 2023.
All right, we're now going to start our discussion with our guests who have joined us here in the studio. Once again, thank you to Pak Wasisto and Dr. Cecep for being here. Now that the race has clearly begun with all nominees announcing their registration, we can say the political alliances are set. What are your opinions now that the general election is truly underway? What can we expect, Pak Wasis?
Well, I think in general, as we have the definitive candidates, I think the voter already settle up their decision.
We can also actually see that the declaration from
Yeah.
from presidential nominee and vice presidential nominee Prabowo and Gibran is actually now happening at the Indonesia arena.
Tell us what's happening here, Pak Wasis. Perhaps we have gone through the first and the second presidential as well as vice presidential candidate, and we've seen their supporters, but they are really making a big party right now. What do you have to say about this celebration, pre-celebration?
Well, in general, I think the nomination of presidential candidate in Indonesia always to be a big party, yeah, because they attract many followers, many loyalists to join. But the thing is, many followers doesn't mean that they can vote for them, because you know that many Indonesian voter mostly is undigited voters. So we can sure that they will keep their promise to choose this candidate. So I think this could be a reminder for us that we should aware of that many Indonesian voters still unprecedented voters.
I see. So what you're saying, this huge turnout, it doesn't mean anything. This is just
not a guarantee.
Yeah, it's not a guarantee
Correct.
of the popularity when it comes to voting
Yes.
in the voting booth.
Yeah, we cannot ensure that their vote goes to the candidate.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But of course, I mean, like, just looking at the screen, we can see that this is definitely a big start of the show, you know, compared to the other two candidates. Dr. Cecep, what do you have to say about this? Is this some sort of strategy that they're doing to gain more popularity and perhaps more exposure from the public?
Of course, okay, thank you. I think for today's celebration, from my point of view, there are several points just to comment in this election. The first one is, of course, from these three pairs, Prabowo and Gibran are the biggest coalition party, support by both from the parliament party and also the outsider parliament from the 2019 election.
Okay.
That's the first one. The second, I think today is what we call there are several ethics problem from this candidate.
Okay.
Let's say from the judicial vote last week, I think, October 16.
Yeah.
The ethics from the constitutional court, and then Prabowo and the other coalition, his coalition, still accept Gibran to be his vice president. His running mate, with him. In fact, on the on the other side, PDIP as the Gibran party still have no comment until now. I think they will give the decision next few days.
Okay.
The others, I think when in 1999, when Indonesia chose a democracy as its way for this country to manage this country, and then we will launch 6 election for next year. So refer to some political scientist scholar, at least if a country want to be consolidated democracy, we need 8 to 9 democratic election. So in 2039, 2044, at least actually we can be consolidated democratic country in Asia.
Okay.
But this year, few months before the election, the politicians saw to us, how this election can give Indonesia setback to be a democratic country.
Okay.
So we are in the way to do democratization in Indonesia, and we can move back to the other side.
Okay.
Like the several democratic advocates
Yeah.
in the previous they support Jokowi. Today they set back from Jokowi.
Yeah, a lot of political drama happening in this past few weeks. We would love actually to dissect your opinion about the Constitutional Court's ruling, which has been the talk of the country
Exactly.
for sure. But maybe before that, we go back to the event today, the registration and the declaration by Prabowo and Gibran, the final nominees to formally announce their candidacy. Why do you think they chose the very last day of registration? It is for momentum. It is to make sure that people notice them the best. What do you think of this strategy, Dr. Cecep?
Okay, because from the 9 parties in the parliament, Prabowo got support from the biggest one. I mean, from the majority party from the parliament.
Okay.
And if you have more party, so it is quite difficult to have the conclusion, to have consensus. So
It's even trickier.
because
of
every
the-
party will give the name for vice president,
Exactly.
the running mate for Prabowo.
Okay.
So finally they choose the other side, the other from this party.
Yeah.
Finally they find Gibran to complement with Prabowo.
So you're
with his
thinking,
running
you're
mate.
saying that he's actually having difficulty to really.
That's the first
one.
explanation. The
Yeah.
second, I think Prabowo also think about his winning for the next election.
Yeah.
He already 3 times
Yes.
fighting for the election and lose.
Yes. So
So,
he's hoping this is
yeah.
third time the charm.
So he needs backup from Jokowi and also Jokowi volunteers.
Okay.
And we know until now Jokowi is still the most popular president,
Yeah.
not only in Indonesia but in Asia,
Yes.
more than 30%.
Yes.
So I think Prabowo needs a Jokowi blessing. The second,
Okay. And his popularity.
yes, of course, and he's voluntary. Relawan Jokowi.
Yeah.
You can name it Projo, Bara,
Yeah.
Samawit, and
They're
etc.
everywhere around Indonesia. So logistically speaking, it is also the most strategic
Yeah.
decision to actually collaborate.
Yeah.
With
The
someone
third one, of course, Jokowi itself. Yeah.
Okay.
We cannot say there is no Jokowi rules in this election.
Okay.
Jokowi still do cawe-cawe because with different with all the things he
Okay.
got as a president. Mahkamah Konstitusi, Constitutional Court, saw to us last week
Yeah.
how it works.
Yeah. I think it is one of the most contested issues for sure. And I would love to get your opinion, maybe from Pak Wasis first. When we talk about the controversial ruling of the Constitutional Court regarding the age limit of a presidential candidate, maybe first I would start by asking you, do you think age matters when it comes to a vice president or maybe even president nominees? What do you think?
Well, I think the emergence of young leader in the world, I think is not a new phenomena. Many countries have many young leaders. For example, in New Zealand, in Sweden, and even in Chile.
Yeah.
But regarding the age, they came up from the bottom. I think they run through the advocatism.
Yeah.
They run for the networking from the below. So if we follow this line, of course, it doesn't matter. But in Indonesia, we already know that the privilege source always matters, even if they are from the young people, because many young people that now currently sit in House of Representatives mostly came from the political clan or political families. So if we back to the question again, I think it depends on the privilege sources.
Okay. Well, but would you say that although Gibran Raka Buming Raka has not been very super active, I mean like in advocatism, but then he's been born into this world, he's been under Jokowi's influence and education, you know, he's been trained by his fathers. What do you think about that?
I think Gibran would like to follow his father trait, to be cautious, to be calm, and mind-minded.
Okay.
So Gibran follow his father as the role model when it comes to the political office. But I think this also to be a burden for him because many people would like to comment that Gibran is a shadow of the Jokowi, and he cannot independently act if the father can intervene on his governing style, of course. So this is maybe to be his burden next if Gibran get elected in 2024.
Yeah, he's got big shoes to fill.
Correct.
Very high expectations as well now that he's the running vice presidential candidate.
Right, let's go back to the Indonesia arena where the celebration is taking off with the Indonesian national anthem, Indonesia Raya, being sung together with all attendees. We can see all the political parties who have consolidated to nominate Prabowo and Gibran.
Terima kasih hadirin, disilakan duduk kembali, kita berikan tepuk tangan untuk Bapak Prabowo dan Mas Gibran.
Ya, silakan untuk duduk kembali.
Baik, Bapak dan Ibu yang kami hormati,
Right,
selanjutnya
the energy
kita akan
seems to be
saksikan
electrifying
bersama-sama
right
momen
there
yang
in the
sangat
arena
spesial, yaitu
as
Menjemput
all
kemenangan
parties have now
Indonesia Maju
consolidated
dengan
together
penandatanganan
and
piagam pernyataan
obviously showing their
dukungan
support
Koalisi Indonesia
using their
Maju
party colors. As
mendukung
you said, Dr.
Capres
Cecep,
dan
this is the
Cawapres
biggest coalition
2024.
between the three pairs of president and vice president nominees.
kami undang dengan hormat
And
untuk tawa-tawa
maybe
di
it's
atas
also
panggung
telling that they
kepada
chose
Bapak
this specific
Prabowo
venue to do the
selaku
declaration
calon
because it is seen as, you know, the new Indonesia, new
Silakan, Pak
development.
Prabowo.
Silakan
You know, it's a
Pak.
sign of
Yes.
youth
Dan juga
involvement
Mas
as
Gibran
well in
selaku calon
politics.
wakil presiden
Here comes Prabowo Subianto
2024.
stepping up to the podium for the third time. Luisa.
Selain itu juga kami mengundang seluruh partai koalisi Indonesia Maju untuk bisa maju ke depan. Yang pertama dari Partai Prima kami undang Bang Agus Jabu.
Berikutnya dari Partai Gelora, Pak Anies Mata.
Berikutnya dari Partai Garuda, Bang Ahmad
They're
Rida
calling all the
Sabana.
leaders of
Dari
Chair.
PSI,
the chair of the
Kaisang.
other parties to come up to the
Dari
stage.
Partai Bulan Bintang, Profesor Yusri Iza Mahendra.
Dari Partai Amanat Nasional, Pak
Like an
Zulkifli
actual
Hasan.
basketball match, yeah, the way the MC is calling out the chairman names of the parties.
Dari Partai Gerindra tentunya Pak Prabowo. Dan
Obviously, the energy they want to give out is, you know, it's big energy.
That they're confident.
And
Willing to win.
they're here to win. They're here to lead the race, although they've come to the race the latest compared to the other pairs.
They want to show off to the public,
Show
yeah.
off.
Because until last week, I think there are 18 to 30 undecided voters. Perhaps, yeah, more or less 20% undecided voters. And hopefully they will look at these three pairs of the candidate. They move to shift one of the others. Yeah.
Kita berikan tepuk tangan untuk Partai Prima, suaranya mana
And I think
Partai Prima?
it is interesting to see why this pair pick up blue clothes.
Yes, light
I
blue.
was gonna say that. Why do they pick this color?
Yeah,
Bersiap-siap berikutnya
that make me
What do
wondering.
you think?
Yeah.
Well, I think blue color psychologically means new youth spirit.
Okay, like Like a new horizon.
optimism,
Oh, New Horizon.
and also courageous.
Yeah.
So I think this cloth symbolically want to show public this is the new pair that
Yeah.
remain ready to fight, something like that.
Okay, everybody's lined up on stage now. We have all the chairmen of all political parties, from Golkar, Erlangga Hartarto, AHY from Demokrat,
Mana nih PSI pendukungnya?
and all the parties that have
PSI,
announced
PSI.
their support.
Itu brother.
Profesor Yusril
Yeah, you can imagine if they use the four pockets, yeah, like Prabowo, it is too exclusive, so they try the other
Okay.
color, yeah, the other model of the.
Yeah.
Because that is typical of what
Typical, so
Prabowo have been
try to
wearing.
be
Berikutnya
inclusive,
mohon
ya, to
bersiap-siap
others.
dari Partai
Okay.
Amanat Nasional, Bapak Zulkifli Hasan. Mana Partai Amanat Nasional?
I think they're signing like a declaration of support, making it official.
Terima kasih. Berikutnya kami
They're
undang
giving their
dari Partai
blessings
Exactly.
for this couple to
Mas
move on forward.
We have your backs,
Yes.
for the upcoming campaigning.
Yeah.
Statistically, this is very pleasing to the eye. But would this affect voters? Would this influence voters to shift their, voting preferences if they already have one? Would that deter their choice if they see something like this happening? What do you think?
Okay, if we based on the political communication perspective, yeah, actually what we see today, yeah, in the Indonesia arena, actually they are communicators. All of these chairman of the political party, they try to be communicators, and then they show to us, they communicate with the symbols. How we are the pairs, yeah, Prabowo and Gibran, we got support not only from the biggest party, from the parliament, and also the outside parliament, but also from Jokowi. Then after that, we want to show off, yeah, to all of you, the public, yeah, to the receivers, yeah, to the audience, and then it is us, yeah, and then it is. But the response from the audience, there are four response actually. The first one, I think, when they already become the profile, yeah, of the supporter, of the cadre, of the voters from the political party who support Prabowo and Gibran, they will strengthen, yeah, the voting, the voters. But for the other voters,
Excuse me, Doc, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we might have to listen to what Prabowo Subianto has got to say now.
Sejahtera bagi kita sekalian. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Selamat pagi, saudara-saudara sekalian, bapak-bapak dan ibu-ibu yang saya hormati dan yang saya banggakan. Saudara-saudara sekalian, Mas Gibran Raka Buming Raka, calon wakil presiden dari Koalisi Indonesia Maju, yang saya hormati dan saya banggakan, Ketua Umum Partai Golongan Karya, Saudara Erlangga Hartarto, yang saya hormati dan saya banggakan, Ketua Umum Partai Amanat Nasional, Bapak Zulkifli Hasan, yang saya hormati Ketua Umum Partai Demokrat, Bapak Agus Harimurti Yudhoyono, Ketua Umum Partai Bulan Bintang yang saya hormati, Profesor Dr. Yusril Iza Mahendra, yang saya hormati Ketua Umum Partai Gelora, Bapak Anies Mata, Ketua Umum Partai Garuda yang terhormat Ahmad Ridho Sabana, Ketua Umum Partai Prima yang saya hormati Saudara Agus Jabu Priyono, dan yang paling ganteng Ketua Umum Partai Solidaritas Indonesia, Mas Kaisang Pangarep. Saudara-saudara sekalian, yang saya hormati Bapak Rosan Roslani, Ketua Tim Kampanye Nasional Koalisi Indonesia Maju. Yang saya hormati Saudara Bahlil Lahadalia, yang saya hormati tokoh-tokoh nasional yang hadir, terutama Panglima saya Jenderal TNI Wiranto, juga Jenderal Polisi Sutarman, Letnan Jenderal TNI Safri Samsudin, Letnan Jenderal TNI M. Tarub, ibu-ibu kita yang hadir, Ibu Wismoyo Aris Munandar, dan semua tokoh-tokoh yang hadir di sini, Marsikal Udara Imam Sufaat, Letnan Jenderal TNI Bibit Waluyo, Laksamana Madya Didit Ashraf, Bapak Fuad Bawazir, Menteri Keuangan yang nasionalis, Saudara Mahir Al-Gadri, Mayor Jenderal TNI Glenny Karupan, Saudara Letnan Jenderal TNI Jamari Caniago, dan terutama Ustadz kita, panutan kita, Habib Lutfi bin Yahya, Kiai Haji Suyuti dari Banyuwangi, dan begitu banyak tokoh-tokoh lainnya yang tidak saya sebut tanpa mengurangi rasa hormat. Tapi saya lihat di sini juga ada Datuk Besar, Saudara Wakil Menteri, saudara-saudara sekalian, saya tidak akan panjang pidato karena kita harus ke KPU, karena ini adalah hari, tanggal, dan waktu yang sudah dihitung. Jadi sesuai adat kita, kita akan penuhi. Saudara-saudara sekalian, ada di sini kawan-kawan saya Nusron Wahid, Saudara Ibas, ya semuanya, Pak Ludwig Paulus, Pak Muzani. Saya minta maaf kalau saya tidak sebut satu-satu untuk mengurangi waktu. Saya ingin menyampaikan di sini bahwa kami, Prabowo Subianto dan Gibran Rakabuming Raka, mohon doa restu dari seluruh rakyat Indonesia, mengucapkan terima kasih kepada pendukung-pendukung dan pengusung-pengusung kami semuanya. Dan saya ingin di sini menyampaikan tekad kami bersama dengan saudara-saudara untuk maju minta mandat dari rakyat Indonesia. Karena kita menghadapi titik yang sangat penting dalam sejarah bangsa Indonesia. Kita menghadapi titik di mana kita bisa bangkit menuju Indonesia yang hebat, Indonesia yang bebas dari kemiskinan, Indonesia yang bebas dari kelaparan, Indonesia yang bebas dari kurang gizi, Indonesia yang anak-anaknya akan tumbuh gembira, kuat, dan cerdas. Indonesia di mana kekayaan Indonesia akan dipergunakan sebesar-besarnya untuk seluruh rakyat Indonesia. Itu tekad kami, itu perjuangan kami, itu sumpah kami kepada rakyat Indonesia. Saya tidak lagi akan panjang berpidato. Saya hanya menyampaikan seluruh jiwa raga kami untuk rakyat Indonesia.
Luar biasa.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam sejahtera bagi kita sekalian. Shalom, Om Santi Santi Om. Merdeka! Merdeka! Indonesia maju! Terima kasih.
Terima kasih kepada Bapak Prabowo Subianto. Selanjutnya kami persilakan kepada Mas Gibran untuk bisa memberikan speech-nya. Mas Gibran.
Silakan Mas Gibran untuk menyampaikan speech-nya kepada kita semua.
Capres diperintah oleh Cawapres untuk duduk.
Luar biasa.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan, Rahayu. Yang saya hormati Ketua Umum Gerindra, Calon Presiden Pak Prabowo, tenang saja Pak Prabowo. Tenang saja Pak. Saya sudah ada di sini. Yang saya hormati para ketua umum partai, Ketua Umum Partai Golkar, Ketua Umum Partai PAN, Ketua Umum Partai Demokrat, Ketua Umum Partai Gelora, Ketua Umum Partai PBB, Ketua Umum Partai Prima, Ketua Umum Partai Garuda, yang paling saya sayangi, Ketua Umum Partai PSI, yang saya hormati Abah Habib Lutfi, matur nuwun sanget, teman-teman relawan, para senior, tokoh-tokoh agama yang saya hormati, luar biasa sekali. kita semua meyakini program-program yang sudah berjalan sudah membawa Indonesia ke pintu gerbang kemajuan. Tugas kita sekarang melanjutkan dan menyempurnakan hal-hal yang terkait anak-anak muda, generasi milenial, generasi Z, dan jangan lupa para santri. Pasti kita dukung penuh. Kita butuh generasi muda yang handal, generasi muda yang tangguh, generasi muda yang memiliki komitmen kebangsaan. Sekali lagi, generasi milenial, generasi Z, dan jangan lupa santri. Untuk itu, mohon izin Pak Prabowo, saya ingin membocorkan beberapa program unggulan. Dana abadi pesantren. Dana abadi pesantren ini adalah mandat dari Undang-Undang Nomor 18 Tahun 2019. Sekarang sudah ada yang namanya KUR, sudah ada yang namanya kredit mekar, sudah ada wakaf mikro, ada kredit ultramikro, nanti akan kami tambahkan lagi kredit startup milenial. Ini untuk bisnis-bisnis para milenial yang berbasis inovasi dan teknologi. Sekarang sudah ada KIS, ada Kartu Indonesia Pintar, ada PKH, nanti saya tambahkan lagi KIS Lansia. Ada satu lagi. Ada satu lagi, tapi ini yang bawa biar istri saya saja. Soalnya ini berhubungan dengan ibu dan anak. Ya. Diangkat bareng. Kartu anak sehat untuk pencegahan stunting. Lalu tak lupa hilirisasi untuk komoditas pertambangan, pertanian, dan perikanan. Ini wajib. Dan juga ekonomi hijau dan energi hijau untuk keberlanjutan. Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, saya yakin keberlanjutan dan konsistensi adalah modal kita untuk melompat lebih jauh menuju Indonesia emas. Sekali lagi, terima kasih Bapak Ibu semua mohon doanya agar semuanya lancar. Dan semoga perjalanan kita ke depan dapat dimudahkan. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih sekali lagi buat Bapak Prabowo Subianto dan juga Mas Gibran Rakabuming Raka atas pidatonya. Untuk kita semuanya sekali lagi boleh berikan tepuk tangannya Bapak Ibu.
Tepuk tangan untuk Bapak Prabowo dan juga Mas Gibran. Dan tentu saja dengan tadi sudah disampaikan ya, kita semuanya siap untuk menjemput kemenangan Indonesia Maju. Capres dan juga Capres 2024 Prabowo-Gibran.
Pada pemilu 2024 nanti.
Bagaimana? Enggak salah pilihan
Pak
aku.
Prabowo.
Paten enggak? Paten enggak wakil presiden kita?
Apa paten?
Terlalu muda enggak? Gue terlalu tua enggak? Baik, terima kasih saudara-saudara sekalian. Saya tadi minta maaf, salah satu pendukung kita yang paling kuat adalah Mualim Partai Aceh dari Aceh. Terima kasih Mualim. Dan mungkin sebagai salah satu penutup, karena kita saya mengajak kita semua untuk sejenak menundukkan kepala, kita berdoa karena banyak saudara-saudara kita, rakyat Palestina di Gaza sedang menghadapi cobaan, penderitaan luar biasa, menghadapi penindasan. Marilah kita berdoa agar mereka diberi keringanan, kebaikan, dan keselamatan oleh Yang Maha Kuasa. Berdoa mulai. Berdoa selesai. Hati kita, jiwa kita, perjuangan kita bersama rakyat Palestina. Terima kasih.
Ya, baik. Terima kasih sekali lagi Pak Prabowo dan juga Mas.
Wow. Okay, you
What
can
a
say
speech.
whatever you want about Prabowo and Gibran, but they can put on a show.
Exactly. I mean, like that is such a good speech. I mean, both like Prabowo was like expected, but something from Gibran,
Yeah.
it was like a very nice, thorough speech.
Yes.
And especially with that closing right there from Prabowo saying, you know, like emphasizing to the audience, what do you think about us? Am I too old? Is he too young? So for them, it's like a show of approval, saying that, oh, actually we can do this, and we are a good match. What do you think?
And they're saying we understand what are the objections,
The
from the general
concerns,
public,
yes.
the concerns. We are aware of that, but we are here to prove you wrong, something like that. Maybe we can start with Oasis. What do you think first about Prabowo's speech in the beginning?
Well, I think the way Prabowo delivered his speech seems that he want to capture all the things from the Jokowi's legacy and representing the current voter demographic, and also the other rival program. For example, stunting and then santri. Is it similar with rivals program? And in the end, he want to ensure that all this thing can make him above. Because capturing all the keywords, capturing all the key figures, as we see, Habib Lutfi, and then some military retiring,
And General Wiranto,
correct,
also acknowledged.
and so in conclusion, he want to say that this is my final stage, this is my final show, and he want to ensure that this could be a winning coalition.
And let's just talk a bit about the introduction that Gibran did. I mean, like that was so catchy. He just started the speech with "Tenang saja, saya sudah ada di sini."
Well, I was surprised, of course, because when we see the way Gibran make words or make statement in Solo, he always keep in short and to the point, of course. But now we can see that Gibran has a good communication skill that emphasize some words that make be catchy, could be reminded by all the people. So I was wondering when Gibran get trained in communication skill.
He's up his level now.
Of course, yes.
He's got good training, I think.
Yeah, lifting the communication skill in short term is really matters.
And you can tell, you can see the difference and the show of confidence from the way he talks in his speech today. Yeah.
Yes, we can see, because previously Gibran is shown as the non-ambitious person, calm, and now he is now confident and also want to embrace more. So I think this is opposite from his image in Solo, I think.
Okay. Now, before we get your opinion, Dr. Cecep, we're just going to quickly go now to Shafira Junior, our reporter who's at the KPU, to tell us a little bit more about the situation now that we're waiting for the candidates to arrive there to do the formal registration. Hello, Shafira.
Hello there, Siska and Luisa, reporting live from the General Elections Commission, or KPU. Ahead of the 2024 elections, 2 presidential and vice presidential candidates have registered. And today, presidential candidate, Minister of Defense Prabowo, and vice presidential candidate, Mayor of Surakarta, Gibran Rakabuming Raka, are about to register here at the General Elections Commission. Presidential and vice presidential candidates Prabowo Subianto and Gibran Rakabuming are paraded by all political parties leaders from Indonesia Maju Coalition that nominated Prabowo and Gibran as the presidential and vice presidential candidates for the 2024 general elections. Previously, there are 2 presidential and vice presidential candidates who have registered at the General Elections Commission, namely Anies with Muhaimin and Ganjar with Mahfud MD. Security forces around the General Elections Commissions are tied to make sure the security here, as the General Elections Commission area is pretty crowded with the people here, with the supporters of Prabowo and Gibran for the 2024 elections. Now we are here still waiting for the arrival of Prabowo and Gibran. That's what we have for now. Reporting from the General Elections Commission, Safira Junior and camera person Arya reporting for TVI World. Back to you there at the studio.
All right, thank you, Shafira, for your reporting. We'll surely get back to you later on after the candidates have formally registered the candidacy at the General Election Commission. But now, back to Dr. Cecep. I'm sure we were all quite pleasantly surprised to see a whole new Gibran performing on stage. But I wanna go back to Prabowo's speech, actually, because we've been talking about age of Gibran. Is he too young? But we haven't been talking about Prabowo's age. He's the oldest presidential candidate now in the candidacy in this election. What do you think of his performance just now, Dr. Cecep? Do you think he still got what it takes to be, serving 2 terms of governing as president?
Yeah, in a few weeks ago, I think, Prabowo said he's the fighters,
He's a fighter.
Fighters, and then he will try to fight, because he said that I want to be public service to Indonesia. I want to serve Indonesia, and then from this celebration, I think Prabowo show to us, yeah, how he tried to continue from Jokowi presidential. So it is quite easy for all of the Indonesian society, yeah, to when they if they want to continue Jokowi, just choose me. Just pick. Just vote.
Now, would you say, based on that performance just now of both Prabowo and Gibran just now at the speech, would you say that choosing Gibran is still somewhat a setback to democracy, or has this convinced you otherwise?
Yeah, I think for Gibran itself, I think, yeah, from this celebration, this celebration showed to us how Gibran transformed just in short time. Yeah, from the very calm, not ambitious, become so confident. Yeah, it showed to us. That's the point. And I think a few weeks ago, Gibran also told to us, yeah, he has several political consultants. I think they also already briefed Gibran. So it is the new Gibran, yeah. The new Gibran.
Gibran now, as per today.
Gibran 2.0, right?
So that's how he changed very fast, yeah. He learned a lot, I think, in these few days. That's the second. The third one, I think, if we talk about, I think age is no matter if you have the same experience, yeah. Yeah. So we just know, yeah, Gibran just 2 years as the mayor of Surakarta. Less experience, yeah, to in the public service area. Yeah, it is quite difficult for Gibran to manage the whole country. Even you have a lot of special staff, yeah, and then also technical assistant, etc.
Advisors, ministers.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I want to tell you, yeah, that Gibran actually, like the Pak Wasis taught to us, yeah, in previous time, when we talk about age, yeah, of course we have young leaders, yeah, in the other countries. But for Gibran itself, he has a little bit experience in the public official. Actually, when we talk about how to be leaders of a state, yeah, leader of the country, we need 3 aspects. Yeah. What are the experience? What is the experience of him or her? Yeah. What's the bright, yeah, the prestasi,
achievement. Accomplishments and achievements. Yeah.
Previous
their track record.
And then what will he do, yeah, for the future?
Yes.
The vision.
Yeah.
And what he did today. Yeah.
Okay.
So plus today and the next,
then
the future.
Tomorrow. Now, seeing them both on stage, holding hands, smiling brightly, I cannot help but think back of the election in 2019, if you remember how heated it was between Prabowo and Jokowi. And now we see Prabowo standing there side by side with Jokowi's son, and saying he's going to continue everything that Jokowi's been doing, essentially, implicitly using so.
He said he will continue and perfect. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
I think Prabowo are shifting his strategy from the 2-3 previous election, with next year election, and because actually if he doesn't change his strategy, it is quite difficult for Prabowo, to win the election. So he need to make a good communication with the others. Okay, in politics we have a catch-all party. In this next election, with Indonesia Coalition Indonesia Maju, Onward Indonesia Coalition, we can say this coalition try to have the catch-all voters. Like Gibran said, he tried to target most of several segmented
demographies.
They have country, and then the millennial and Gen Z, the lansia, anak, the others.
Santri.
And also he touched upon a little bit about green economy and sustainability.
green economy, yeah.
It's also a big issue for
Also, the last one is
the
Palestine.
younger people, right?
So, all the-
Awasis, what do you think? The way he delivered those messages about the programs, was that too gimmicky for you? Was it good political communication? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I think the way he mentioned several programs in a short term means that he want to wrap up all the existing program that already run.
Yeah.
And also he tried to attract swing voters that that concerned with economics, Palestine issue, and also a sensitive issue that might be to be a driving force for Prabowo. So I think Prabowo want to be pragmatically to attract voters, regardless of he has a limitation to reach out issue on voter, but from the way he mentioned several keywords, he want to show that I'm concerned with issue and I have the solution for this issue.
I also find it interesting that the one that is announcing some of the programs is actually Gibran instead of Prabowo. Why do you think they decide to do it this way?
I think Prabowo want to ensure that the Advanced Indonesia program that also to be his coalition name can be passed on to Gibran. So that's why Gibran was given much more chance to speak about the potential program they want to run if he get elected. So that's why Prabowo want to ensure that the name of Advanced Indonesia narration can still ongoing by passing down to Gibran. So that's why Prabowo give much times to Gibran to speak.
More stage time.
He wants him to flex.
Basically,
because there is a huge concern about Prabowo's age and then Gibran's lack of experience. If something, God forbid, ever to happen to Prabowo, then we'll have Gibran as president, and that's been a huge concern with voters. And I think today was the perfect opportunity for them to try address that concern and issue. Do you think they've successfully addressed it, Dr. Cecep?
Yeah, I think because I think the chief of the success team, Rosan, already works for them. Then he already divided. They make the division of labor between Prabowo and Gibran's speech. Prabowo in the previous one, and then after that Gibran. And then Gibran also spill some potential agenda, some potential program if they won the election next year.
Right. Okay. So thank you for that opinion right there, Dr. Cecep. We will move on now to another story right here. Onward Indonesia Coalition will register Prabowo Subianto and Gibran Rakabuming Raka as pair of presidential and vice presidential candidates with the General Election Commission right now, Wednesday.
Prabowo Subianto said when he announced Gibran as his running mate for the 2024 election at his residence on Jalan Kertanegara No. 4 in Jakarta that he and Gibran will register with the KPU on Wednesday. The announcement on Gibran's name and his running mate was made by Prabowo after he attended the National Santri Day in Surabaya, East Java earlier on Sunday morning. Prabowo said all political party members of the Onward Indonesia Coalition had agreed on Gibran as Prabowo's vice presidential candidate. The coalition members are the Gerindra Party, the Golkar Party, the National Mandate Party or PAN, the Crescent Star Party or PBB, the Gelora Indonesia Party, the Garuda Party, and the Prima Party. The deal was made when chairmen and general secretaries of each party met at Prabowo's residence on Sunday evening. However, Gibran was not present when his name was announced as Prabowo's running mate.
Now moving on to the political parties who have shown their support for the candidacy of Prabowo and Gibran, the Indonesia Solidarity Party, or PSI, officially declared its support for Prabowo-Gibran pair as presidential and vice presidential candidates for the upcoming 2024 election.
The Indonesia Solidarity Party, or PSI, declared its support for presidential and vice presidential candidates from the Advanced Indonesia Coalition, or KIM, Prabowo Subianto and Gibran Rakabuming. Kaisang Pangarap, chair of PSI, conveyed the statement in a declaration event held last night titled Konser Pilpres Santuy Ojo Rungkat.
Kami, Partai Solidaritas Indonesia, siap mendukung Bapak Prabowo Subianto dan Mas Gibran Rakabuming Raka sebagai calon presiden dan calon wakil presiden 2024.
PSI called for the pair to promise a respectful and easygoing, or in youth slang, Santuy 2024 general election and prevent from committing any kind of negative actions. In the same occasion, Prabowo Subianto stated that along with his running mate Gibran, they will focus on the welfare of the people and the alleviation of poverty in Indonesia.
Fokus pilihan kepada rakyat. Kita hilangkan kemiskinan, kita jamin kehidupan yang baik untuk seluruh rakyat Indonesia. Itu adalah bersama Prabowo Gibran. Bukan Prabowo sebagai individu, bukan Gibran sebagai individu, Prabowo sebagai simbol, Gibran sebagai simbol. Dua kekuatan merah putih menjadi satu.
That it's not just a Prabowo individual and a Gibran individual, but now they're connected, they have bond. Do you think that they have actually bond after that speech right there we saw today? Do you think they have bonded? Would you say they're still like separate individual, or do you think they have actually
Is there chemistry between them?
Actually, what we see today, it is not only the result from a few days ago, Actually, Prabowo already proposed Gibran few months ago,
Okay. Yeah.
5 to 7 times,
Yeah, I think
propose
so.
Gibran.
One of those lunches he had with President Joko Widodo.
After that, he tried to make the chemistry for Gibran, between himself and Gibran. And today, he tried to show to us, how he connect with Gibran, how he connect with the Jokowi legacy, how we connect with the Jokowi heredity.
Yeah. Okay.
Awasi seems like smiling right there. What do you have to say?
Well, of course, making social bonding needs time.
Okay.
As Pak Cecep said that Prabowo already proposed Gibran several times, but I'm sure that this bonding also facilitated by his father.
Okay.
Because the gap generation, the age matters here. So if the president cannot facilitate these two actors, I think there is no social bonding, of course.
Okay. Right, now moving on, Luisa, as you said, it is not just Prabowo Subianto and Gibran Rakabuming Raka, but there are also the supporting political parties.
That's right.
As you said, Dr. Cecep, this is the biggest coalition in the upcoming general election for presidential and vice presidential. So what sort of challenges would they be facing with so many different needs and opinions and views to consolidate and to make sure that everyone's needs are met? That should be quite a challenge to overcome by the candidates, right?
Yeah, like when Prabowo choose Gibran, actually, he needs time, more time to choose Gibran finally. Because before Gibran, before October 16, the potential candidate for the running mate for Prabowo is Erick Thohir, right?
Yes.
Then after the Constitutional Court decided last week, shifting to Gibran. And then after that, all the political party also support Gibran. Yeah, PAN from Erick Thohir to Gibran, and then Democrat Party from Khofifa ya to Gibran, and then Golkar from Erlangga to Gibran, etc. But I think from this dynamic issue this if we talk about the biggest coalition, the challenges is the how to make the point the consensus. Today this is what so yes, Prabowo needs time to communicate with the others, I think, and there is Jokowi's role also to communicate with all this political party in the coalition Indonesia Maju, and then for the next step, I think also Jokowi's role still important in this coalition. Jokowi become the most powerful actors in this coalition. Besides Prabowo, like Mas Wasis said also, there is a connectors actor who connected Prabowo and Gibran, Jokowi itself. And then because Jokowi the most important actors and then because of he is the president, he has powers in this state apparatus. So it is quite difficult for Jokowi. It is quite easy for Jokowi to
difficult and easy at the same time, I would say. It's a dilemma, I would say.
It's a big dilemma right there, but we see the results is unfolding, and let's just see what's going to happen later on in the general election. Now, speaking of the chairs of the political parties of the Advanced Indonesia Coalition, they are actually scheduled to accompany Prabowo Subianto as well as Gibran Rakabuming Raka to register as presidential and vice presidential candidates at the General Election Commission on Wednesday afternoon. Chair of the Golkar Party, Erlangga Hartarto, said on Tuesday, 8 political party chairs of the Advanced Indonesia Coalition will accompany Prabowo and Gibran when registering at the General Election Commission or KPU office. Erlangga added the registration will begin on Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Prabowo announced on Sunday solo Mayor Gibran, who is the son of President Joko Widodo, as his running mate for the president election next year, 2024. The announcement came after the Constitutional Court ruled last week that candidates under the required age of 40 can seek the presidency or vice presidency if they have previously held elected regional office.
Now, on the topic of political constellation for the upcoming general election, people will also be voting for their representative in the legislative field. Do you think the political alliances that are happening now for the presidential and vice presidential candidacy will affect how people vote for the legislative?
Yeah, I think, let's say, for Golkar itself, why they shifting from Erlangga to Gibran? Because they also want to succeed in the legislative election. They try to get the cocktail effect. Because when Prabowo and Gibran, later they will campaign, Golkar will back up the campaign, and then the voters will see Golkar is the body also from the Prabowo and Gibran. So Golkar and then Democrat also, they try to get the cocktail effect. So if they have no actors, if they have no representative in this coalition, I mean for the president and vice president, but they try got total effect. Say they want to get voters in the legislative election.
Okay, I think in 2019 Golkar came third, right? First was PDIPI and then Gerindra and then Golkar. So they want to do better this time, obviously.
Yeah. Wasis, what do you have to say on this? How do you think they're going to gather the support up to the general election? Are they going to be successful with so many political parties supporting them?
For voters? Well, I think because we will have simultaneous election, technically it is difficult to voter to pick up the preferred candidate they want to choose because so many names, so many books that they that want to see. And I think for the presidential and the vice presidential election, I think the role of patron is important to get voter to pick up someone to get elected. But for the rest, for the House of Representative and also local house, the role of cocktail effect might be in effect,
Okay.
but I think also needs the local patron to get voters. That's why we would say that the role of middleman to get or to attract voters at the local level is important.
Okay. It'll be interesting to talk with you about the mechanisms and technicalities of the upcoming general election. It's going to be simultaneous throughout Indonesia. It's complex, it's dynamic. Indonesia is the third biggest democracy in the world. We have a lot of questions for you on that. But maybe first we're going to show our viewers the profile for the last candidate for presidential election, Prabowo Subianto. Let's have a look.
Prabowo Subianto was born in Jakarta on October 17, 1951, is the son of Professor Sumitro Joyohadikusuma and Dora Marisigar. He is the third of 4 children. His 2 older sisters, Biantiningsih Midderawati and Mariani Ekowati, and 1 younger brother, Hashim Joyohadikusumo. Prabowo was married to Siti Hediati Haryadi, the 4th child of then President Suharto. From this marriage, he was blessed with 1 child named Ragowo Didit Hedi Prasetyo. Since childhood, Prabowo has moved from one country to another, following his parents' duties. He attended elementary school in Hong Kong, moved to Malaysia and Switzerland, and he completed high school at the American School in England. At the age of 16, Prabowo returned to Indonesia. His father introduced him to Indonesian society. Young Prabowo did not just participate passively, but he was actively involved in meetings held by his parents. At that time, his parents were known as economic leaders and socialist activists. Prabowo helped establish the first non-governmental organization in Indonesia, called the Development Institute. Prabowo began to get involved in building the social network that his parents had previously built. He had the idea of bringing together the children of former Indonesian Socialist Party or PSI officials. His passion for socio-political activities was interrupted in 1970. At the age of 19, Prabowo decided to enroll with the National Military Academy in Magelang, Central Java, although he had earlier been accepted to study at the University of Colorado and the George Washington University, United States. Prabowo graduated from the Military Academy in 1974. 2 years later, he joined the Army Special Forces, or Kopassus. He began as platoon commander of Kopassus Group 1 Paracommando. He rapidly rose to prominence and was appointed Kopassus chief in 1996 to 1998. His military career continued when he was appointed commander of the Army Strategic Reserves Command or Kostrat in 1998. However, he did not serve as Kostrat chief for long due to critical political situation amidst the rise of student and mass demonstrations and the resignation of Suharto from presidency. In the same year, he was transferred to command the Indonesian Military Staff and Command School, which he only served for a brief period. After leaving office and retiring from the military, Prabowo left Indonesia and lived in Jordan and Germany. There he pursued business with his younger brother Hashim, who had previously become an entrepreneur. After around 7 years in business and disappearing from the hustle and bustle of Indonesia, he returned to his homeland. In 2004, he sought ticket for presidency by joining Golkar Party convention. Unsuccessful in the convention, he built a farmers' network and was elected as chairman of the Indonesian Farmers Association, or HKTI, in 2004. Still, in 2004, he ran as vice presidential candidate, running alongside presidential candidate Megawati Soekarno-Putri, but did not succeed. In 2008, he established the Gerindra Party while also serving as chairman of its advisory board. In the 2014 presidential election, he ran as a presidential candidate, partnering with Hatta Rajasa. Unfortunately, this pair did not manage to win the contest. But Prabowo's party achieved a significant increase in votes in the 2014 elections by securing third position after PDIP and Golkar. In 2019, he ran for presidency in his second attempt along with Sandiaga Uno. Yet, he lost again.
Menteri Pertahanan Bapak Prabowo Subianto.
But he was later appointed by President-elect Joko Widodo to become Minister of Defense. In the 2024 elections, Prabowo is nominated by the largest coalition of political parties, which controls 261 seats in the parliament.
From the presidential candidate Prabowo Subianto, next we will check out the profile of the vice presidential candidate Gibran Rakabuming Raka. Let's take a look.
Born in Solo, Central Java on October 1st, 1987, Gibran Rakabuming Raka is the eldest son of President Joko Widodo and First Lady Iriana. His younger siblings are Kahiyang Ayu and Kaisang Pangarep. Gibran spent his childhood in Solo but continued his study at Orchard Park Secondary School in Singapore after graduating from junior high school. He then pursued his undergraduate degree at the Management Development Institute of Singapore MDIS and graduated degree at the University of Technology, Sweden, Australia, graduating in 2010. Upon returning to Indonesia, he established the Chili Pari catering business in December 2010. In between, he was elected chairman of Surakarta chapter of Indonesian Catering Companies Association. In addition to that, he was also appointed as commissioner of PT Prakabu Sejahtera, the company established by his father. Together with his brother Kaisang, Gibran ran Markobar Cafe, which was initially only located in Solo. The cafe, which sells a variety of martabak or pancake, has developed significantly, and currently it has 33 outlets throughout Indonesia. He also jumped into electronic gadget repair business with the name of iColor in 2016. In the same year, he set up a raincoat production business with the brand Tugas Negara Bos or State Duties Boss. Gibran established a Buntel pasta restaurant which focuses on Italian food in 2017, and he also opened a coffee shop and food stall selling grilled chicken feet. In 2018, he and his friend Kevin Susanto established a culinary-focused startup company named Gula. The company secured funding from Alpha JWC Ventures worth $5 million or equivalent of 70 billion Indonesia rupiah. A year later, Gibran collaborated with Kaisang and Chef Arnold Purnomo, establishing a restaurant named Mangkokku. Also with Kaisang, he set up food and beverage products with the name of Kemripik and Ngedrink, a Semarang culinary startup named Madang, as well as job search application Kerjaholic. In June 2015, Gibran was married to Selvi Ananda, Miss Solo of 2009. They have been blessed with a son named Jan Etes Rina Rendra, who was born in 2016, and a daughter named Lalembah Mana, who was born in 2019. In 2020, Gibran started his political career as he registered as a member of the Indonesian Democratic Party of Struggle or PDIP and ran for the Solo mayorship along with Teguh Prakasa as his candidate deputy mayor. The pair was supported by PDIP as well as the Golkar Party, the Gerindra Party, the National Mandate Party or PAN, the Nasdem Party, the Perindo Party, and Indonesian Solidarity Party or PSI. Gibran and Teguh won the mayorship race with 225,451 votes or 86.53%, defeating the pair of Bagio Wahyono and FX Suparjo. They were inaugurated on February 26, 2021. After more than 2 years in office, Gibran was named by presidential candidate Prabowo Subianto on Sunday as his running mate for the 2024 presidential election. His popularity among the Indonesian youths and status as son of Jokowi are expected to boost Prabowo's achievement in next year's political event.
So there you have it, the profiles of the third and final candidates for presidential and vice presidential election, Prabowo Subianto and Gibran Rakabuming Raka. We're now going to take a little break, but when we return, we have further discussions, further analysis, and maybe also a live update from the General Election Commission of the arrival of the candidates. Stay tuned to TVRI World. Welcome back to our special report right here on TVRI World. Still with me, Siska Becker, and my partner, Luisa Kusnandar, and our two experts still joining us in the studio to talk about the latest update from the general election for presidential and vice presidential election.
We still have Dr. Cecep as well as Pawasis. Thank you so much for being here. Now that back to the general election, we have Prabowo and Gibran Rakabuming Raka. Do you think they have successfully gained the voters from Jawa, like West, Central, and East Jawa, now that he has partnered up with Gibran?
Well, I think if we learn from the previous election, Prabowo won in West Java, but for Gibran, I think still in local Solo area. So if we take it in the large context, I think Gibran has chance to disrupt voter in Central Java, as he also has a strong Japanese background, and this is can be appeal for the voters voting for Gibran. But for the East Java, I'm not sure yet, because the East Java is the home of the Santri voters.
That's right. Okay.
And that's why this pair needs a middleman, or maybe could be ulamas, or maybe kiais that can bridge in the voters and this pair.
So that would explain the repeated reference to ulamas and Muslim clerics during that declaration which we saw together at Indonesia Arena. Now, Dr. Cecep, we saw how Gibran has transformed himself into a proficient public speaker, and we would say, you know, as public speakers ourselves, we were pretty impressed by his skill, because it's not easy talking on such a big stage, being watched by so many people in that arena. And mind you, it's not just those people in the arena watching him, it's the whole Indonesia. But surprisingly, he kept collected, he kept calm, he delivered the main messages. Now, seeing all that, how do you think Pak Prabowo will utilize Gibran in the upcoming campaigning that will start the end of next month? Yeah.
Okay. For the campaign, actually, they will start on the end of November, for the 75 years, 75 days, until 3 days before the election, the H day.
On 14th of February.
Okay. I think there are two keys for the next election. The first one is Java itself, and the second is the young generation, millennials and Gen Z. Okay. For the we try to analyze these two keys. For the Java itself, refer to some pollster. We have several pollster. They show to us for the West Java will won by Prabowo, Jakarta by for Anies, and then the Central Java, previous pollster. I think they show to us Ganjar will win in Central Java, and then for the East Java will be battlefield for these three pairs.
Those are the swing voters.
Okay. Why? Because in in East Java, they have the biggest Islam organization. So these three pairs of candidate, they ask for the represent of East Java, either NU, Nahdlatul Ulama. Let's say Anies with Caimin as the representative of NU, and then Ganjar with Prof Mahfud as a representative of NU, and also East Java itself. And then for Prabowo itself, finally Jokowi, he didn't choose a representative from East Java, but he took Gibran, the mayor of Surakarta from Central Java. Of course, this coalition tried to hope Gibran can took several voters in Central Java itself. And then for the East Java, they will use the issue, the issue like the Gibran said in the celebration a few minutes ago. The santri itself, and then also they try Mas Wasis language to say the middleman, middle person, brokers itself. And then this coalition, they need the informal leaders, Muslim informal leaders. And itself, And then that's the first one. The second, when we talk about millennial and Gen Z, actually Prabowo will use Gibran to take voters from this generation. Gibran as a representative from millennial and Gen Z. And then, as we know, Gibran also active in social media. We don't know who replied the X or the other platform, but he active in social media. And then, since the Gen Z and millennial, they have more than 55% voters.
That's a huge number.
Huge number. And then from these three pairs, from this 6%, Gibran is a representative from the millennial and Gen Z. So the positive effect, the positive tone from these pairs, they want to get voters from this generation, from these voters, these specific voters. Even they have the negative tones, which is the previous last week Constitutional Court decision.
The ruling of the age limit.
Pak Wasis, would you say, how would you say Prabowo and Gibran is going to win the East Java votes? How are they going to gain the East Java votes comparing to like Ganjar as well as Anies, because their vice presidential candidates have a strong votes in East Java?
Well, East Java historically has a fluctuated trend in terms of the political map. It was a basis for Democrats, it was basis for Golkar, and currently it was basis for PKB. And when we see this fact, I think the voter also dynamic and also follow the ruling party that governed at that time. So when we translate it to the current context, it depends on the role of the, like I said before, the brokers and the middlemen. Because speaking on the NU voters, they all decentralized. So they have own preference. They following the ulamas or following the maybe the informal leader, for example, Ustad or something else. So it depends how they get approached by someone that connect with the success team.
Okay, so it seems like East Java will be the battlefield for the upcoming election. Now we understand why Java is so crucial for all the candidates. It has the biggest population, of course, in Indonesia. But what about outside Java? But before we delve into that, I think we have some updates from the General Election Commission from Shafira. Shafira, please give us some update, or just visuals from the General Election Commission.
Okay, let's take a look at the situation right now at the General Elections Commission. Okay, they're preparing the room at the moment, and we can still see empty seats right now. So apparently, the presidential and vice presidential candidates Prabowo and Gibran have not arrived yet.
Yeah, they're still on their way.
Yes, they're scheduled to arrive at 10 a.m. this morning, but since it's not starting yet, so we assume it's going to be a delay.
Okay, once they arrive, we'll surely notify you and give you the latest updates. I'm sure there must be some traffic issue along the way. We hear that it's quite congested,
especially with all the supporters
coming from
with them.
Arena, all the way to Kuningan to the General Election Commission. So now back to Dr. Cecep. Let's talk about outside Java. How would that play out in the general election for presidential and vice presidential?
Okay, when we look at the voters, the number of the voters from Java and outside Java. First one, the biggest voters come from West Java. After that, East Java, and then Central Java. Right?
Okay.
And after that, the outside Java.
Yeah.
And refer to previous election, actually, Prabowo won the election from the outside Java, mostly from Sumatra.
Okay. In 2019.
Yeah. Yes. So refer to that result, and also when in the celebration, Prabowo also introduce the head of the Partai Aceh.
Yes.
The Mualim tadi ya.
At the very end, when he returned to the stage.
He want to show to us actually. Prabowo show to us, then he got support from the outside Java, mostly from Sumatra, from from Aceh, West Sumatra, etc. The other province,
Okay.
Prabowo won the election in the previous. So. They refer to the previous election. I think for next year election, he will win also.
Okay, based on his latest results.
Yeah.
Now, because they were implying that they will continue all the developments that has been made by this current government. That would include the development of the new capital in Kalimantan. Would that mean they will get the votes from people in Kalimantan? What do you think, Pak Wasis?
Well, I think the percentage of voters in Kalimantan is not densely, other than in Sumatra or Sulawesi. If we look at the previous demographic graphs, it seems that northern Sumatra and also southern Sulawesi are the basis of the dense voters in outside Java. So when we back to the Kalimantan voters, I think it is sufficient to say that, this voter might be concentrate in East Kalimantan because there are many migrants, many also local natives that still residing here. There, I'm sorry. So probably East Kalimantan would be hold the key for the voters in East Kalimantan, in Kalimantan as the whole.
Okay. To win the general election, what would be the best strategy, the best bet for Prabowo and Gibran? Would you say?
Attracting voters in Java or outside Java?
Indonesia, to win the general elections.
Let's pretend you're advising them on what moves they should take. I mean, based on just what we saw today.
Well,
you should utilize Gibran more. Maybe you should grab people from East Java more, as you said. That's where they lack voter base, right?
It depends on the issue they're working on. Because many voters also has different concern. For example, as this pair said that they concern with the green economics that mostly associated with the urban voters.
Yeah.
They concern with the santri that that connected with the traditionalist Muslim voters. So they should working on differently to make this issue bigger to attract voters, because we cannot generate all the voter has same concern.
Yeah.
And that's why I think they should make different success team that working on the specific issue, certain issue that make attract the voters in the targeted group.
Okay. And I think now in 2023 and especially in 2024 when the election will take place, I would say most Indonesians are already educated in the process of democracy. As you said, Dr. Cecep, we've been doing this since 1999, 2004 and onwards all the way till now. So hopefully the voters have been educated enough to truly understand how to choose the best candidates for themselves. Now, before we talk more about elections in Indonesia, we're going to move on to the next item.
Yes.
We're going to tell you about the history of elections in Indonesia, which has gone through various changes. The formation of election management institution actually began in 1946. However, the first general election was held in 1955. Since then, Indonesia has held 12 elections up to present. The following is a brief overview of the election history in Indonesia. Let's have a look.
The general election, or pemilu, in Indonesia is held to elect people's representatives and government officials directly by Indonesian citizens. Elections are an important mechanism in a modern democratic system that allows the people to participate in the political process, either to elect or being elected as public elected officials. The aim is to create a government system that is based on the will of the people, maintain democratic principles, encourage political participation of citizens, and ensure that elected leaders represent the interests and aspirations of society at large. Fair, free, and transparent elections are very important in maintaining the democratic integrity of a country. Elections in Indonesia have been held for 12 times since 1955 until now. The history of elections in Indonesia began in 1946 when President Sukarno formed the Central National Committee Composition Reform Agency, or BPS-KNP. However, BPS, which already had branches in the regions, had apparently never carried out its duties in electing members of parliament. After the independence revolution subsided on November 7, 1953, President Sukarno signed Presidential Decree number 188 of 1955 concerning the appointment of the Indonesian Election Committee, or PPI. This committee was tasked with preparing, leading and holding the 1955 election to elect members of the Constituent Assembly and members of the People's Representative Council. The country's first legislative elections then was held in September 1955. It established a proportional representation system in multi-member constituents. Although the election process was fair and democratic, the outcome was disappointing for those who had hoped it would increase the stability of parliamentary democracy. None of the competing parties even won a quarter of the total valid votes. The Indonesian Nationalist Party, or PNI, formed by President Sukarno, gained 22.3% of all the votes. That was the election in independence period from 1945 to 1959. After that, Indonesia turned into a guided democracy from 1959 to 1965. Elections during this period took place in an undemocratic political climate because of the guided democracy system was only implemented by President Sukarno. Political parties were suppressed and dominated by PNI, the ruling party back then. The era then moved to new order in 1966 to 1998, led by President Suharto. After the G30 SPKI and the fall of Sukarno, Suharto became president and led the new order era. Elections are regulated by Law No. 5 of 1975 and Law No. 2 of 1985, which established the ABRI dual function system, where the armed forces play a role in politics and society. Under the new order, Indonesia held its first election in 1971. This was effectively a legitimacy tool for the new order regime. 10 political parties contested the election. One of them was a functional group, Golongan Karya, or Golkar. established in the early 1960s as a united front to fight the Communist Party. Golkar was de facto leading party of Suharto's new regime. Golkar Party dominated the elections in this period. The next term was in 1977 to 1997. In the 1977 election, the original election contestants were 10 political parties, but then cut to only 3 political parties. NU, Parmusi, Perti and PSII merged to create the United Development Party or PPP. PNI, Parkindo, the Catholic Party, the IPKI Party and the Murba Party became the Party Indonesian Democracy or PDI. The United Development Party or PPP, Golkar and PDI continued to be maintained until the 1997 elections. Golkar as a single majority continued in the next 4 elections in 1982, 1987, 1992 and 1997. Golkar became the winning party. PPP and PDI ranked the second and the third. Indonesia then entered the Reformasi era in 1998 up to present. In 1998, Indonesia experienced political reform that overthrew the Suharto regime. These political changes paved the way for changes to the political system and electoral process. In 1999, legislative and presidential elections were held again with freer and pluralist political parties. After President Suharto's administration, Vice President B.J. Habibie then was appointed as a president in 1998. The election in 1999 was the first election during the reform era with 48 political parties. Abdurrahman Wahid and Megawati Sukarno Putri were elected president and vice president by the People's Consultative Assembly. The pair was then replaced by Megawati Sukarno Putri with Hamzah Has. The next election was held in 2004. It was the first democratic election with a direct election. It was in 2 rounds, July the 5th, 2004 for round 1 and September the 20th, 2004 for round 2. Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono and Yusuf Kala were elected president and vice president. Then the 2009 election. It was followed by 44 political parties with 38 national political parties and 6 local Aceh parties. Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono and Budiono were elected as president and vice president. The 2014 election was held on July the 9th. Prabowo Subianto contesting the elections against the governor of Jakarta, Joko Widodo. On July the 22nd, KPU announced Joko Widodo's victory. He and Vice President Yusuf Kala were sworn in on October the 20th, 2014 for a 5-year term. The 2019 election was held on April 17th. Prabowo Subianto contesting the elections against incumbent President Joko Widodo. KPU announced Joko Widodo's victory. He and his Vice President Ma'ruf Amin were sworn in on October the 20th, 2019 for a 5-year term. And now Indonesia is preparing for the 2024 election. President Jokowi, under Indonesia's constitution law, is barred from running for the 3rd term. There are 3 strong contenders in the presidential race. 1 is Ganjar Pranowo and Mahfud MD. 2 is Defense Minister Prabowo Subianto and his running mate. And 3rd is former Governor of Jakarta, Anies Baswedan, and Muhaimin Iskandar, Chairman of National Awakening Party, or PKB.
Now, the registration for the 2024 presidential and vice presidential candidates will be closed today. The campaign period will then begin at the end of November 2023 until early February 2024. Below are the stages of 2024 general election, both at home as well as abroad.
Now back to our discussion with our guests in the studio, Pak Wasis and Dr. Cecep. Before we talk more about your analysis about the upcoming dynamics in this general election that's coming up in 2024, I want to get your opinion on the mechanism and technicalities of the general election that is happening in Indonesia. As you know, since 2019, we've had simultaneous general election where people need to vote for their presidential and vice presidential candidates as well as their legislative representations during that general election. So at the same time, around 200 million voters will have to choose so many people. As you said, Pak Wasis, it can get complicated sometimes for voters. But according to many political scholars and analysts and even to the Constitutional Court ruling, it is said to be the most ideal mechanism for Indonesia. I just want to quickly get your opinion. Why do you think that is considered as the ideal one, and do you agree with that?
For me, memang Indonesian election, 2020 and 24 election will be the most complicated election. Not only in Indonesia, but in the world.
In the world, yeah. So many voters.
Because a few years ago, I give a training to the for election, for several civil society, and then we do agree, Indonesia is the most complicated.
Yeah.
Why? You can imagine in one day you choose a big ballot, and a lot full of picture, name, etc.
Yeah.
It is quite difficult for us, for the voters to choose which one is the voters.
Sometimes they haven't even seen those faces before that day.
Yes.
And then the other side is the most complicated because of the area of Indonesia itself. We have
being an
island,
archipelago.
the most archipelago country. It is quite difficult to distribute the ballot,
Yes.
and then how to control, because the issue, from 2019 election, it is the cheating, the what they call, the
voting fraud,
shifting voters from the other.
From one candidate to another.
One to the other candidate. That is, then in the same party.
Okay.
So based on all those things, all those problems, I think Indonesia still need we need all the actors, all to make next election become success. The first one is the voter itself. And the second is the government, the last one is the regulators, the KPU, Bawaslu, and TKPP itself. So all the stakeholders need to support each other, to make next election become success, for Indonesia. Because we hope, Indonesia can become the democratic country, not only democratic but consolidated democratic country, the nature of democracy country.
Well, we've done this election so many times, and by now we should have the system more simplified instead of more complicated. Pak Wasis, what do you think of our election system then? What should be improved? And do you think we will actually have a successful election next year?
Well, when we look back at the previous election, the biggest issue was the manpower.
Manpower, yes.
So many officers that in polling station feeling exhausted after counting many voters.
Yeah, we heard stories about extreme exhaustion.
Yes.
People died actually for being sick after days working at the voting booths.
So that's where this issue should be improved in the upcoming election, because I think the manpower issue also relate with the result of the election. Because we want to minimize the human error. We want to minimize the cheating when counting the ballot. So that's why the KPU or maybe Bawaslu should recruit more men to be officer or local staff that be ready in polling station.
Okay, Pak Wasis, talking about KPU, we are actually seeing visuals now from KPU. Both candidates for presidential and vice presidential election, Prabowo Subianto and Gibran Rakabuming Raka, I think have just arrived at the venue of KPU to formally register themselves as nominees for the upcoming election. It's still the chairman of the political parties who are supporting the nominees. They're all riding in one vehicle, symbolizing consolidation,
unity,
right? Driving together forward for one purpose. It's a good visual.
It's a good visual, definitely a good visual.
In terms of political communication, right, Pak Cecep? This is a good thing to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because one of the lessons maybe that we've also learned from previous elections is sometimes elections can get too heated. And then it can get personal, even to the smallest unit, to families and friends, you know. I think it would be better for us as we move on to a mature democracy to show that even though we have different opinions, even though we have different needs and views, we can still consolidate and move forward a common purpose together. What do you think, Pak Wasis, should be done by all nominees, including this one, to ensure that no more divisions between friends and families, and especially, you know, with issues like race and religion that was used in previous elections, how to ensure that doesn't happen again?
I think the crucial thing to mention is the free riders.
Free riders?
Because they sometimes take advantage of the heated political situation, and they're spreading disinformation, spreading hoaxes in social media. So it's not related with the elites, but the free riders that sometimes take benefits from this issue. They spreading play campaign to the others. So we should cautious of this issue.
The provocators. Yes.
That could be partisan or maybe,
So as I said, chaos of agents, basically.
Correct.
How should we address those type of people then?
Well, I think this is the difficult to say that this person always omnipresent, that can be unidentified because they always use the alternative account in social media. So it's like a mushrooming. So they can grow another when the one is defected. So that's why this is hard task for the Ministry of Communication and Informatics to tackle this issue.
The army bots and the
cyber
army.
Cyber army. All right. We are looking now at the screen, the third presidential and vice presidential candidates, Prabowo and Gibran Raka Buming. They're both greeting to all their supporters. And Pak Wasis, you were with us when we had the previous shows before with the other two presidential and vice presidential candidates. How do you think they're doing it differently with this time, since we have many more supporters, especially they have gathered since the morning just now at Indonesia Arena?
When we learn from the previous election, the presidential candidate is the most centralized power, the most figure, other than the vice president. And then we now see that all the figure and in equal terms. So I think this is the new thing that we learn from this election, because the previous one, I mean the presidential candidate always the centralized figure, but now we look the equal position between those figures.
So there's two spotlights now.
Correct.
Okay, we are still waiting for...
Oh, there's a barongsai. That's interesting.
That's another demographic that I didn't expect to see represented here.
That's something new.
At the candidates registration
Along with
event.
the music as well.
Okay.
A lot of symbols,
A lot of symbols,
messages.
In the car, they use the janur kuning.
That's right, So all of these are really taken into account, how they communicate with the public, with the Indonesian public, saying that they're very inclusive to all groups.
Now, just pretend that all the other candidates are watching this as well, which I'm sure they are. All of
course.
Indonesia are now watching this.
It is.
Yeah. What do you think would be their assessment? What would be their point of view on how they can use everything they see today to improve their candidacy and their campaigning? Pak Cecep.
Yeah, I think if they see this occasion,
Yeah.
I think they already prepare for the next campaign.
Yeah.
I think the success team already make the strategy how to solve with the other candidate, the other competitors. Yeah. And then even Anies, and then also Ganjar, the success team, they will create a strategy, but not in general strategy. Of course, they have general strategy, but they also have the unique strategy.
Okay.
And then, they must look at the voters. What kind of voters? Rational voters, irrational voters.
Okay.
And then also the other kind of voters. They try to create the segmented voters, and then they spread, and then different voters has different strategy.
I see.
Yeah, for the East Java, Central Java, outside Java.
Okay.
For the Gen X, Gen Y, millennials,
Yeah.
they have different strategy, unique strategy. But also with different issues, green issue, environmental issue, etc.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in the past, we've always seen it's like a general campaign where we will see a lot of posters hanging by the street. But I think this coming election will be very different.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, for this coming election, because we enter the multimedia era,
Exactly. Can you
not
elaborate
only,
more on that? Yeah.
All the candidates, I think, actually now they already use the social media. A few months ago, I think, one of the candidates from Gerindra Party, he used the dating application,
Dating application.
Yeah.
Really.
Really.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Tinder?
Not the Tinder. Okay. Not the name,
Okay.
They use, all the platform they use, because they try to capture the photos from the millennials and Gen Z.
Okay.
Most of them are native, internet native.
Okay, exactly. Now voters are quite savvy with social media, so much than the previous generation, of course. That the younger generation, the one they're aiming for, are actually quite, literate about the army bots, about hoaxes, and even about buzzers. You can tell when someone, you're just saying all these good things about this particular candidate because we know you're a buzzer.
Yeah.
How do you think this will play out in the dynamics of the upcoming general election, Pak Wasis?
Well, since we have get into the multimedia era, so we also face many actors that involved in this era.
New players,
New players and new actors that cannot be identified one by one. It could be associated with the candidates, and also it could be act himself or herself. So I think they want to make sure that this election can be economically benefit for them.
Okay.
By spreading issue or something like that.
In terms of getting clicks, monetizing,
spreading images, because the first impression of voters right now is the interesting visual image. The graphic and also the picture that might be appealing for the voters. So that's why they want to work on how to make best images, best graphic that can catchy
and grab more attention and at the end
more attentive,
clicks, right? And even with the development of AI nowadays, could that play a role as well, you think?
Yeah, they can polish up the images
Yeah.
and also personality, of course, as we said as we saw in the PSE even last night that you know the masculinism images and also the machoism images that may be attracting for the midwife. I'm sorry, for the young men or young women.
Yeah.
So I think this is the strategy to reach out the voters.
Okay, yeah.
And there's a lot of noise too. I mean, there's a lot of distractions out there.
Yeah.
How would you say, how do we become smart voters then?
Well, I think it depends on the way you engage with the various digital sources.
Okay.
Because if you just depend on the one single sources, well, you will be vulnerable to get access or misinformation because relying on the one source is not trustable according to me.
Yeah.
But if you really rely on the various sources, for example, you can verify the truth, you can verify the substance, and you can be literate, of course.
Okay, so get educated, try to get different points of views, not just be in a bubble, right? So you know what's going on, basically, both in real life and in social media. Because sometimes social media doesn't reflect on what's happening outside.
Of course,
Because the most voters right now is like in the echo chamber. They sound their concern only around in the same circle, but not affecting the other circle. That's the main challenges.
Okay, to be in the echo chamber,
But
right?
in this multimedia era, we need also pay more attention to the political hawks, hate speech, and also disinformation. The data from the Ministry of Information and Communication, and also from the Police of Indonesia, they launched data. The numbers of disinformation, political hawks, and also the hate speech is going up, from 2022 to 2023.
Already going up.
Yeah, already going up,
Okay.
and also perhaps for the next
concerning.
4 months, will be going up.
Okay, so
And
have a
then
look out for
how to
those.
solve this problem is with the educated voters.
Okay.
How the voters can difference between the truth news with the political hawks.
Okay. You know, people say that actually the main concern for those kind of hoaxes and political hate speeches are the older generation. Like I said, the younger generation are actually, they're more savvy
Smart,
about which one is being truthful, which one is the buzzer. Especially, we're going to have first-time voters. The Gen Zs are going to vote for the first time in 2024. Now, when we talk about this particular demographic, what do you think they would be looking for in a candidate? This is a first time for them to be in a process where they can choose their elected leaders, they can choose which issues they want to put their focus on. What do you think for Gen Zs in Indonesia in 2024 would be the biggest issues?
I talked with several young generation few days ago, and then there are two types of Gen Z. Okay, of course they will become the first voters, but some of them still apolitic. They have no idea to choose in the D-Day, in the election days. And then the other side, the Gen Z with the
they have aspiration and they have the knowledge.
And then so we need to make the politics Gen Z to come to the election day. So this is the job for the government itself, and also for in this multimedia itself, how to train the young generation to go to the election day.
Well, voting is a privilege,
of course,
Like we have the utmost privilege here in Indonesia to actually directly elect our president and vice president and legislative members. Because not even like in the US they can do that. They don't directly elect their president. They have another process, electoral votes, right? And that's different with us. We can, our one vote goes to one candidate. It doesn't, be blocked in an electoral college votes. What do you think, Pak Wasis? How should we communicate this to the younger generation, especially the ones who feel like, I don't know that much to be involved in this process? What can the government do to encourage them?
Well, I think the government should reach out by approaching their concern. Because I think for those young people live in urban and rural area has different concern.
Okay.
For example, for those urban young people, I think they already educated, well affluent, of course, and I think they engage with the bigger issue like young people in the around the world. I mean like climate change or maybe green economic and maybe global warming, for example. But for those young people who living in rural area, I think they still connected with the classical issue. For example, employment, housing, education, accessibility.
Right.
So these two types has been approached with different strategy, of course.
So you think there'll be two sets of strategy from the candidates, one to address the issues from the more affluent voters who understand more about more global issues, or should we be seeing, you know, the classical campaigning, bensin murah, beras murah, and those sort of things? You understand, Pak Wasis?
Yes. Well, speaking on demographic percentage, the most of young voters is not concentrate in urban but in rural area. Yeah, when we see the pie chart of the young voters, maybe half of the percentage living in rural area. So that's why
It's a big chunk then.
correct, of course. So that's why I think the candidate can reach out them by offering the housing scheme, employment issue, because the rural young voter is also guided generation. They still follow the traditional value. They still follow what their parents say. So, for example, if they want to secure a better job, go to the civil servant, for example. So this should be a concern for the candidates.
Right.
What about those programs that Gibran showed all of us on stage earlier today? Do you think that would be attractive to the rural young voters?
I was paying attention to the Dana Santri.
Yes.
Because it is a big chunk of the voters that can be tempting for the Santri of voting for him. Because when we compare with the other candidate that only represented by the old figure, the young Santri is scattered around in the public space. So that's why this is more tempting for the Santri voters other than just pointing out the, the older, like the figure that appointed to be vice presidential.
Okay. Well, besides the campaign that everyone is, of course, looking forward to, the audiences are also looking forward to the presidential and also the vice presidential debate coming up later on. What can we expect here, especially for the vice president, since Gibran only has 2 years of experience in the government versus, say, Mahfud MD and Caimin, of course,
Who's very experienced already compared to Gibran.
Well, I think Anies and Mahfud MD has bigger competence than Gibran.
When it comes to debating.
When it comes to the debates, because in terms of the education level, experiences in office, of course, both of them has more advantages than Gibran. So that's why this to be hard work for Gibran to step up his weakness to be par in par with those figures.
Goes into training camp right away. Level up even more skills. What do you think, Dr. Cecep? How would Gibran compare to the other presidential elections, and in which part should he be sure to increase his levels to make sure that he's in par with the others?
Compared to Caimin and also Prof. Mahfud, of course, it is not apple to apple, compared to Gibran. That's the first one. But when we see this morning occasion, I think Gibran is hardworking ya, learners gitu.
Yeah.
He's a fast learner.
Fast learner ya. And then I think Gibran can do more than we expect actually.
That's right.
Compared to Caimin ya, Prof Mahfud.
I see. So don't underestimate him yet.
Yeah, don't underestimate.
He did surprise us this morning from his speech.
And then actually I think Rosan also already learning the vision and mission from Anies and also Ganjar ya. I already read the vision and mission of Anies and Ganjar. And then I also noticed from several pollsters. Actually there are two issues from the big issue from the society. The first one is the affordable price The second is the unemployment. So how the government can create the good price for the market, etc. And also how to create jobs job creating. These two candidates Ganjar and also Anies, they have the same idea with different words of course. I think Rosan will do the same thing.
Excuse me, Dr. Cecep, we're just going to go to our visuals from the General Election Commission. We see now Prabowo Subianto and Gibran Rakabuming Raka entering the General Election Commission, finally waving to their supporters, showing confidence and strength, holding hands together. Another strong visual. It's interesting they're using this particular woven textile.
And the General Elections Commission gave each pair.
It's like a welcoming gesture.
Yes. So I think now they're going up and entering the main room pretty soon, joined by all the chairs of the coalition parties.
Now, Luisa, you've done this rodeo before, twice already. How long does it take usually for the whole process to conclude?
I think the process went on pretty quick and pretty smoothly, around 30 minutes from here. We will once again hear a short speech from the presidential candidate. I'm not sure if the vice presidential candidate will be speaking again. But let's see what's going to happen.
We've just entered the main hall.
Main hall.
I think soon we're going to have audio as well.
Exactly.
As you said before, this is the last day of registration, Wednesday, 25th of October, and it is safe to assume that they've chosen this day intentionally. For strategic purposes, to make sure that they get all the attention. All right, so if the rundown goes as planned, then first we'll have the welcoming remarks from the chair of KPU, and then from the candidates, followed by the chair of the supporting parties. Seats are filling up over there. Now again, this is actually a very exciting process.
Exactly, yes.
That we have here in Indonesia. As again, a celebration of democracy is unfolding. We now have the third and final candidate coming out for the general election in 2024. As our guests have mentioned, just go to the main hall for now to hear the audio.
And I remember previously with the second pair of candidates, which is with Ganjar, they came up with a book of vision and mission, and it was a pop-up book. So that was something really interesting and really new. And they also brought a QR, a barcode, yeah.
Written for
So
the
that
passport. So
audience,
everyone can
They want to know about the vision,
and the mission, yeah.
Okay.
So I think that is actually quite targeted to the younger audiences as well, who are tech savvy and to like present something new. And I really
approach too. I mean, they want people to actually know about the vision and mission and to be involved somehow in their campaign.
So I got also directly the vision and mission in a few hours after that. Look at the vision and mission.
Yeah. I wonder if this pair is going to present us something different too, since they've already started things very differently since the morning.
Should be interesting to watch out for further surprises from the pair.
Okay, they're still getting ready right there, but I think the event is going to start fairly soon.
So this is one of the formal proceedings during this process for the election, but I'm sure as we are speaking right now, even all teams from 3 pairs already preparing strategies for their campaigning, on how to deliver the key messages, key points, how to attract voters, how to do well in battlefields for all the swing voters. So right now everything is looking calm, but actually the teams are buzzing right now.
Right.
What's going to be interesting actually also is to find out how the public is going to react to everything that has happened today, starting with the declaration.
Bapak Ibu hadirin yang kami mengawali acara, hadirin dimohon untuk berdiri.
Okay, I think we're gonna
menyanyikan lagu
standing up to sing the
Raya
Indonesian
dan judul
anthem,
pemilu.
Indonesia Raya.
Dilanjutkan dengan menyanyikan jingle pemilu.
Waktunya untuk gunakan hak pilih.
Hadirin disilakan duduk kembali. Bapak Ibu hadirin yang kami hormati, selanjutnya kita simak bersama sambutan yang mewakili pimpinan gabungan partai politik sekaligus memperkenalkan bakal pasangan calon presiden dan wakil presiden kepada Bapak Erlangga Hartarto. Disilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk
Erlangga Hartarto, Chair of Golkar.
salam kebajikan. Yang kami hormati Ketua Komisi Pemilihan Umum, Bapak Hasyim Asyari beserta jajaran Komisioner KPU Republik Indonesia. Yang kami hormati Ketua Badan Pengawas Pemilu, Bapak Rahmat Bagja, beserta jajaran Komisioner dan Bawaslu. Yang kami hormati Ketua Dewan Kehormatan Penyelenggara Pemilu, Pak Hedi Lukito, beserta jajaran Komisioner DKPP. Yang saya hormati, saya banggakan Ketua Umum Partai Gerindra sekaligus calon presiden dari Koalisi Indonesia Maju, Bapak Prabowo Subianto. Yang kami hormati Mas Gibran Rakabuming Raka, calon wakil presiden Koalisi Indonesia Maju bersama Mbak Selvi. Yang kami hormati Ketua Umum Partai Amanat Nasional, Bapak Zulkifli Hasan beserta jajaran. Kami hormati Ketua Umum Partai Demokrat, Pak Agus Harimurti Yudhoyono beserta jajaran. Ketua Umum Partai Bulan Bintang, Bapak Yusril Isa Mahendra beserta jajaran. Ketua Umum Partai Solidaritas Indonesia, Bro Kesang Pangarep beserta jajaran. Ketua Umum Partai Gelora, Bapak Anies Mata beserta jajaran. Ketua Umum Partai Garda Republik Indonesia, Bapak Ahmad Rida Sabana beserta jajaran. Ketua Umum Partai Prima, Bapak Agus Jabo Priyono beserta jajaran. Ketua Tim Pemenangan TKN, Bapak Rosan Roslani. Pertama, marilah kita panjatkan puji syukur kehadirat Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, Tuhan Yang Maha Esa, atas kehendaknya kita hadir dalam acara pendaftaran calon presiden dan calon wakil presiden ke Komisi Pemilihan Umum di akhir tanggal pendaftaran. Pada hari ini, Rabu tanggal 25 Oktober 2023, sesuai dengan amanat konstitusi, bahwa pencalonan presiden dan wakil presiden harus mendapatkan dukungan dari partai politik atau gabungan partai politik. Di hari yang baik, di hari terakhir pendaftaran calon presiden dan wakil presiden, izinkan kami mewakili para ketua umum yang mendukung dan pengusung yang kami namakan Koalisi Indonesia Maju, terdiri dari Partai Golkar, Partai Gerindra, Partai Demokrat, Partai Amanat Nasional, Partai Bulan Bintang, Partai Solidaritas Indonesia, Partai Gelora, Partai Garda Indonesia, Partai Prima. Kami mendaftarkan pasangan calon presiden dan wakil presiden atas nama yang sudah kita kenal semua, yaitu Bapak Letnan Jenderal TNI Purnawirawan Haji Prabowo Subianto sebagai calon presiden Republik Indonesia yang berpasangan dengan Mas Gibran Rakabuming Raka sebagai calon wakil presiden Republik Indonesia periode 2024-2029. Kami meyakini bahwa pasangan Bapak Prabowo dan Mas Gibran merupakan pasangan yang tepat untuk melanjutkan kepemimpinan bangsa serta membawa kemajuan bagi Indonesia. Keduanya merupakan perpaduan yang saling melengkapi sebagai pemimpin berpengalaman, patriotik, yang didampingi oleh pemimpin muda yang mendorong transformasi bangsa menuju Indonesia yang lebih baik. Kami menyadari bahwa Indonesia ke depan penuh tantangan, namun kami yakin bahwa dengan dukungan politik dari seluruh rakyat yang ditandai dengan bergabungnya partai politik dan koalisi yang cukup besar. Tentu ini mendorong kolaborasi dan sinergitas dari berbagai kekuatan politik untuk melanjutkan pembangunan. Tentunya pembangunan berbasis politik yang stabil, pemerataan dan pertumbuhan ekonomi, dan tadi sudah disampaikan dalam deklarasi di Gedung Indonesia Arena. Pasangan Bapak Prabowo dan Mas Gibran, kami ingin melanjutkan capaian, kesuksesan, dan prestasi bangsa sebelumnya untuk mewujudkan cita-cita proklamasi 1945 menuju Indonesia Emas 2045 bersama Koalisi Indonesia Maju, Kita Maju. Bapak Ibu Ketua KPU yang kami hormati, secara teknis pendaftaran telah dilakukan melalui silon sesuai dengan aturan dan mekanisme yang diatur dalam undang-undang dan peraturan KPU. Kami telah menyerahkan persyaratan yang telah ditentukan kepada KPU. Kami percaya bahwa Komisi Pemilihan Umum akan menggelar pemilu dengan mandiri, profesional, transparan, berintegritas, sehingga pemilu presiden akan melahirkan kepemimpinan yang terbaik bagi Indonesia. Pada kesempatan ini saya mengajak seluruh rakyat Indonesia untuk menggunakan hak pilihnya pada pemilu 2024 dengan penuh kegembiraan dan sukacita. Kita jadikan program pemilu 2024 sebagai adu gagasan, program untuk kemajuan Indonesia. Dan kepada masyarakat yang tadi kita melakukan acara dan sedikit macet, kami atas nama Koalisi Indonesia Maju mohon maaf, semata-mata antusiasme lah yang membawa kita pada pendaftaran pagi hari ini. Semoga Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, Tuhan yang Maha Kuasa, senantiasa meridhoi perjuangan kita untuk kemajuan bangsa dan negara yang kita cintai. Walahul muwafiq ila aqwamit thoriq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bapak Ibu hadirin yang kami hormati, selanjutnya penyerahan dokumen persyaratan pencalonan dan juga dokumen persyaratan calon presiden dan wakil presiden oleh pimpinan gabungan partai politik pengusul kepada Ketua Komisi Pemilihan Umum. Hadirin dimohon untuk berdiri.
So now will be the handing over of the registration documents, which is an important step during this registration process. Here you have it. The coalition parties submit the documents for presidential and vice presidential election of Prabowo Subianto and Gibran Rakabuming Raka.
Now they're taking pictures together, both the presidential and vice presidential candidate, as well as the chair of the General Elections Commission, KPU.
Bapak Ibu hadirin yang kami hormati, selanjutnya kita simak bersama sambutan bakal calon presiden.
Next we will be hearing a speech from the presidential candidate, Prabowo Subianto.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera kita sekalian. Shalom, Om Swastiastu. Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Saudara-saudara sekalian, Komisi Pemilihan Umum, Ketua Komisi dan semua komisioner, pejabat yang saya hormati dan saya banggakan. Baru saja kami datang menyerahkan berkas sebagai langkah untuk kami maju sebagai calon presiden dan calon wakil presiden Republik Indonesia untuk pemilihan umum yang akan datang dan untuk masa bakti 2024-2029. Saya atas nama Koalisi Indonesia Maju ingin mengucapkan terima kasih sebesar-besarnya kepada semua unsur, semua pihak yang telah membantu membawa kita sampai ke hari pendaftaran ini. Hanya itu yang kami ingin sampaikan. Setelah ini kami akan ikuti semua proses dan kami siap untuk maju di hadapan rakyat Indonesia dengan membawa program kita, membawa visi kita, membawa strategi kita untuk melanjutkan pembangunan dan mengantar Indonesia sampai menjadi negara yang maju dan yang makmur. Saya kira itu yang ingin saya sampaikan. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita sekalian. Shalom. Om Santi 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 Om. Terima kasih.
Bapak Ibu hadirin yang kami hormati, selanjutnya kita simak bersama sambutan Ketua Komisi Pemilihan Umum.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera untuk kita sekalian. Yang saya hormati pimpinan partai politik yang mengusung bakal pasangan calon yang hadir pada hari ini, pimpinan Partai Golkar, pimpinan PAN, pimpinan Demokrat, pimpinan PBB, pimpinan PSI, Gelora dan juga Prima dan Garuda, beserta Bapak Ibu saudara sekalian yang kami hormati bakal pasangan calon Presiden Bapak Prabowo Subianto, yang kami hormati bakal calon Wakil Presiden Mas Gibran, yang saya hormati para anggota KPU yang berkesempatan hadir di sini. Silakan berdiri dari ujung Mas Idam Kholik, Mbak Betty, Mas Parsadana Rahab, Mbak Betty Epsilon Idrus, Mas Sulianto Sudrajat, Mas Muhammad Afifuddin, Mas Agus Melas, di paling ujung Pak Sekjen KPU, Mas Bernard, yang kami hormati pimpinan Bawaslu yang berkesempatan hadir, Ketua Bawaslu Mas Rahmat Bagja dan anggota Mas Puadi, beserta teman-teman di kesekjenan KPU, teman-teman media yang kami hormati. Pertama-tama marilah kita memanjatkan puji syukur kepada Allah SWT, Tuhan yang Maha Kuasa, yang senantiasa melimpahkan rahmat dan nikmat kepada kita sekalian, terutama nikmat sehat walafiat, sehingga pada hari ini kita dapat bertemu di sini bersilaturahim dalam rangka untuk pendaftaran bakal pasangan calon presiden dan wakil presiden untuk pemilu 2024. Kami mengucapkan terima kasih atas kehadiran pimpinan gabungan partai politik yang pada hari ini mendaftarkan bakal pasangan calon. Sebagaimana kita ketahui, dijadwalkan pendaftaran bakal calon adalah tanggal 19 sampai dengan tanggal 25 Oktober 2023. Sehingga pada hari ini, hari Rabu adalah hari terakhir pendaftaran bakal pasangan calon presiden dan wakil presiden. Dan saya kira kita tahu semua, hari Rabu itu hari keramatnya pemilu, karena dari waktu-waktu coblosannya itu hari Rabu. Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati, pada kesempatan pendaftaran bakal pasangan calon presiden wakil presiden oleh pimpinan gabungan partai politik itu adalah menyampaikan dokumen syarat pencalonan dan syarat calon. Nah, untuk kesempatan ini yang kami jadikan ukuran itu hanya satu, apakah dokumennya sudah lengkap atau belum. Dan berdasarkan informasi dari tim di kesekjenan KPU melalui silon, dokumen syarat pencalonan dan syarat calon dinyatakan lengkap. Selanjutnya bakal pasangan calon akan dilakukan pemeriksaan kesehatan. Untuk bakal pasangan calon Pak Prabowo dan Mas Gibran akan dilakukan pemeriksaan besok hari Jumat tanggal 26 Oktober jam 7 pagi hadir di RSPAD Gatot Subroto. Jadi nanti rangkaian pemeriksaan sepenuhnya akan dilaksanakan dan dipimpin oleh tim pemeriksaan dari RSPAD Gatot Subroto. Saya kira demikian yang dapat kami sampaikan. Mohon maaf apabila ada layanan-layanan yang kami berikan kurang berkenan. Dan tentu saja terima kasih atas kerjasama kita, silaturahim kita. Semoga apa yang kita kerjakan ini memberikan kontribusi bagi perkembangan kepemiluan kita dan demokrasi di Indonesia. Mohon tambahan doa semoga kami para penyelenggara pemilu senantiasa diberikan kesehatan, diberikan kekuatan, dan paling utama diberikan kesabaran. Karena kursi terbatas, peminatnya banyak Bapak Ibu. Jadi kami harus sabar melayani Bapak Ibu supaya kemudian dalam berkompetisi ini bisa fair dan demokratis. Dan pada akhirnya nanti semua kegiatan kepemiluan ini berakhir dengan husnul khotimah, semuanya baik dan juga penyelenggara pemilu juga dalam kondisi yang baik. Demikian, terima kasih. Saya akhiri sampai di sini. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bapak Ibu hadirin yang kami hormati, selanjutnya penyerahan plakat cindera mata oleh Ketua Komisi Pemilihan Umum kepada bakal pasangan calon presiden dan wakil presiden. Berkenan kepada Ketua Komisi Pemilihan Umum menyerahkan kepada bakal calon presiden.
From the General Election Commission to the candidates. Right now, just quickly your assessment, gentlemen, after hearing everything that was said from early in the morning, including during this registration process in General Election Commission. What do you think we can expect from this pair, Prabowo Subianto and Gibran Rakabuming Raka, as the third and final candidates to formally announce their candidacy? What can we expect of them in terms of maybe campaigning style, main program, key messages? Dr. Cecep?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to say congrats to Prabowo and Gibran. Finally, they become the last pair to compete in the next year election. The second, I asked them to become the candidate in the election with the fair election. Yeah. Even they have connection with Jokowi, I hope Jokowi will not have used his power to abuse the power to support this candidate.
Okay. Awasis, perhaps any closing statements? What can we expect for the future and the campaign coming up very shortly from now?
Baik,
maybe your wishes as well.
Selanjutnya kita langsung sesi foto bersama. Kami mengundang untuk berkenan
in general, I hope that the election processes run smoothly, not having intervene from the other faction, especially ruling power.
Yeah.
Because this would be a biggest concern for all of us, that right now are worried with the electoral contestation that might be not neutral. So that's why I think the ruling power should be neutral in this term, because many elites that included in this coalition still remain in office.
Yeah.
So this make us worried of the abuse of power. So that's why they should keep promise that they should not intervening in the process.
And Dr. Cecep, can we expect a smooth, peaceful election next year? Anything that we should be worried about, or do you think that we are actually ready as a country to have a smooth ongoing election next year?
Of course, I refer to some experience. I think a few days ago, when again with the Constitutional Court, but after that Gibran still go ahead with to become the running mate for Prabowo. I think for the next month and etc. I still worried with this election, for the next year election. The ruling powers can do anything. So it is time for us, for the civil society to become the election watcher.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have to be more involved.
Yeah, we need all involved to become the election watch, and then to make sure our election, our next year election, become the path to make Indonesia become more great again, to be the most consolidated democracy. We still have 3-4 next election, to make the democracy become mature in this country. Yeah, actually, and then in addition, of course, yeah, all the officials said we want to be to enter the Indonesia Emas to 2045. So it's time for all the candidates, yeah, from these three pairs, yeah, to be the element who support also Indonesia become Indonesia Emas 2045. Yeah.
Yes.
And the one way for that is to make the next year election become success and also fair, become the fair and free election.
Okay, fair and free election. I think that speaks for all of us. That is, of course, our collective wishes. Thank you so much, gentlemen, to Bapak Wasisto Raharjo Jati, researcher at Center for Politics BRIN, and Dr. Cecep Hidayat, political observer at Social Political Studies at University of Indonesia. Thank you so much for sharing with us your time, your insights on today's program. Hopefully we can meet again in future reporting from TVRI World about the general election.
Looking forward.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And that ends our dialogue today and a special report. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day, and we'll see you again next time. I'm Luisa Kusnandar.
And I'm Siska Becker. Stay tuned to TVRI World for more further updates about today's event in the general election. We'll see you soon. Until then, take care and goodbye.